Is the Fables series up for grabs, or is DC going to punish anyone who tries to take advantage of the public domain? A couple days ago, the creator of Fables, Bill Willingham, decided to put his series into the public domain. Now, his series includes characters that were public domain, to include many fairy tale characters like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, and so on. However, the specific versions of those characters belong to the series. However, since he put out his statement stating that he will put his series into the public domain, DC Comics has come out with a statement of their own, stating that they in fact still own the series. This article by CBR summarizes the subject pretty well. As a result of long-standing disputes with DC, Fables creator Bill Willingham has announced that he has put Fables into the public domain. Bill Willingham, the creator of the long-running Vertigo series Fables, which was recently revived as part of DC's Black Label line of comics, has announced that he is putting the characters into the public domain as a result of years of disputes with DC over his contractual rights to the characters of the series, which is about a group of mythological beings who were exiled from their homelands to go live among humans. Mark Buckingham and Steve Leialoha have been the art team throughout most of the series, but Willingham has been the sole owner of the IP rights to Fables. Willingham announced that as of tomorrow, 15 September 2023, the comic book property called Fables, including all related Fable spin-offs and characters, is now in the public domain. What was once wholly owned by Bill Willingham is now owned by everyone for all time. It's done, and as most experts will tell you, once done, it cannot be undone. Takebacks are neither contemplated nor possible. This move does not affect any of the works already in the print, and Willingham still plans to collect all owed royalties for past work and any future royalties on license deals DC makes with the Fable characters. Why did Bill Willingham put the Fables characters into the public domain? Well, he explains in his Substack from September 14th, as well as another Substack on September 15th, to further elaborate, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically, Bill Willingham has had issues with DC sticking to their contract and paying royalties, as well as reneging on the ability for Bill Willingham to do other things that may not be seen as a big issue to DC, like picking the cover artist for his comics. And so he believes that the best thing to do is, instead of trying to sue DC Comics, is simply to put Fables into the public domain, which he believes would have happened eventually anyways, as these characters came from the public domain. But of course the question is, does Bill Willingham actually have the power to put Fables into the public domain? As the article states, as to whether Willingham can legally put characters into the public domain in a way other than disuse, and obviously since the comics are basically perpetually in print, disuse would likely never occur, it is unclear. Jonathan Bailey, writing at Plagiarism Today in regard to Tom Lehrer doing a similar move with his music and lyrics, noted, "There's no certain way to put works into the public domain. Even the Creative Commons CCO is a waiver of rights, not a dedication to the public domain. Even then, it's only, quote-unquote, to the extent allowed by the law. There are a lot of conflicting theories about how and if one might dedicate a work to the public domain, but one of the problems is that any such dedication could be seen as a quote-unquote unenforceable promise, and one that could be revoked at any time. Willingham, though, clearly believes that he can do this legally, so it might just be a case of simply seeing what happens to the first person who tries to publish new Fables works. Either way, it's a stunning move by Willingham that will likely send shockwaves throughout the world of intellectual property rights for years to come. Now, Willingham, in his Substack, mentions that he basically did this to make a big public stink about his issues with DC, since legally, it would take way too much time and way too much money to try and pursue legal recompense for all the wrongs that he believes DC Comics has done to him. But also for the altruistic reason, which I mentioned earlier, which he believes that because these characters came from the public domain, that they should go back, and that this series will basically live on in perpetuity because people will be able to write their own stories based on these characters. Personally, I have been a big fan of Fables for a long time, and I don't think I'm a good writer, so I wouldn't attempt to create a Fables comic of my own, but I am somewhat interested in seeing how independent creators adapt this material. Now, in terms of the legal aspects of this, I have zero legal experience. I do not work for DC Comics, nor am I in contact with Bill Willingham, so I can't say whether or not this actually is something that will stand. My opinion is that either DC will nip this in the bud within the next couple of weeks, taking legal action, or we have to wait to see the first person put out an indie comic of Fables outside of the purview of DC and Bill Willingham himself, and we'll see whether or not DC takes legal action at that point. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But what do you guys think? Are you interested in publishing your own Fables comics? Do you think there are any indie creators who will take that first step and try to create a Fables comic of their own? And how long until DC Comics drops the hammer if they in fact have the legal power to do so? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. Thanks for watching.